Good evening, everyone. Now call to order this August 11th, 2025 meetings of City Council committees. We'll begin with the roll call of members. Mr. Harris, would you please call the roll?
Yes, Madam President. Mr. Med,
Here.
Mr. Royal,
Here.
Mr. Cleese,
Here.
Ms. Craig. Here. Ms. Stevens. Mr. Hirsch. Here. And President Baker.
Here. We are once again working with temporary technology, so I'll ask everyone for their forgiveness if we get some squeaking or popping in the microphones. We'll do our best to try to use them one at a time. We're not usually going at that rapid pace like we are for roll call, so hopefully that will not continue to be an issue. We'll begin with the approval of the July 1st, 2025 committee meeting minutes.
Motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Councilors, any comments on the minutes? Hearing none, Mr. Harris.
Mr. Med,
Aye.
Mr. Royal,
Aye.
Mr. Cleese,
Aye.
Ms. Craig. Aye. Ms. Stevens. Mr. Hirsch.
Aye.
And President Baker.
Aye. All right. We will now go to the Personnel Committee. Councilor Caligst.
Thank you, Madam President. The Personnel Committee has 11 items on the agenda for tonight. And the first item is the nomination of Katie Shiflett for appointment to the Downtown Investment District Authority. I don't know if Katie is here. Would you please go to the microphone, please?
Hello. Okay.
Good evening. Thank
Hello.
you for being here tonight. Would you please introduce yourself and tell us why you want to serve on the board?
Sure. Can you guys hear me? Okay. My name is Katie Shiflett. I'm with Samias Properties. I would love to join this board. I not only work downtown, but I also live downtown. I have my entire life. So I think it would be an amazing opportunity to join this board and really help with everything that the DID is involved with, between safety, cleanup, outreach. I think all the things that they have done in the past few years have been great. I have an opportunity to see firsthand from both a residential and a commercial side the different things that the city has done, how it's grown over the years from something simple to something extraordinary. And I think that I could be a great asset to the board itself.
Thank you. Are there any comments or questions from other members of the committee?
Thank you, Councilor Caligst, and thank you for your willingness to serve. My only question is, how do you see the role of the Downtown Investment District in diversifying opportunities for business owners in the downtown?
Thank you for your question. I think the biggest thing when it comes to diversifying downtown, equal opportunity all over. I think that there's not enough people that realize different things that you can do downtown as a business owner. I think that also having the ability to be on this board will hopefully help to give a voice to other people as well. Like I said, I've grown up in Lancaster and I've seen different businesses come in and go, and now being on another side of property management and leasing with the commercial side, I've seen, businesses not do that great and businesses do amazing. I think that having the ability to see both of those sides and be on a board like the DID would be a great asset in helping to bring different businesses through. I think everybody can agree that we have all different types of people here. We have all different types of businesses here. And I think whoever else wants to come and kind of share their business and their talent and things like that would be great. So.
Other questions or comments from members of the committee? Here, none from council? From the public? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Now I'll make a motion to move this nomination to our next council meeting on August 3rd, on August 12th.
Second.
All in favors?
Aye.
The next item is the nomination of Molly Kirchhoff for reappointment to the Sign Commission. And nominees for reappointment are not required to attend the meeting. So Are there any comments or questions from members of the committee and council?
Councilor Kleekst. Just a comment, Councilor Kleekst. Molly serves as the leader of the public art in Lancaster City as a city employee, and so she would be the employee member of the SIME Commission and had served faithfully in that role previously.
Thank you, Council President. Any comments from the public? I'll make a motion to move this nomination to our next council meeting on August 12th.
Second.
All in favors?
Aye.
We continue with 3 nominations to the Public Art Advisory Board. Nomination of Sisava Tongvantang, Barry Cornozer, Rachel Fleming Hales. And those individuals currently serve on the board, and they have expressed their willingness to be reappointed. Any questions or comments from members of the committee?
Councilor Kleekst, I'll just make a quick comment that I have the honor of serving on the Public Art Advisory Board with Rachel Berry and Sisavath Ole on the Public Art Advisory Board, and I just, they all do a really good job, all bring good ideas, and so I definitely think they're an asset on that board.
Thank you, Councillor, for your comment. Any other comments or questions from members of the committee? From council? From the public? Now I'll make a motion to move these nominations to our next council meeting on August 12th.
Second.
All in favors?
Aye.
Aye. The next item is the nomination of Jean Weglerts for reappointment to the Lancaster Higher Education Authority. And there isn't much to say about this reappointment. I'll open up for questions or comments from members of the committee. From council? From the public? I'll move this nomination to our next council meeting on August 12th. All in favors?
Aye.
We continue with 5 nominations to the Board of Plumbing Examiners. And the nominees are Eric Weiss, Barry Soder, Sean Way, Trent Myers. All those 4 individuals are the nominees for reappointment to the Board of Plumbing Examiners. And we also have a nomination for appointment to the Board of Plumbing Examiners, and the nominee is Mason Soder. And are there any questions or comments about those nominations from members of the committee?
Is Mason here?
Oh, yes, so thank you for your willingness. Could you please go to the microphone, please? Thank you for your willingness to serve. Could you please introduce yourself and tell us what motivates you to serve on the board?
Yeah. So my name is Mason Souter. I've been plumbing here in Lancaster City, and that's fine. I've been plumbing in Lancaster City and the surrounding areas for about 8 years now. I obtained a master's license for Lancaster City, York, Reading, Harrisburg, and it's always been a passion of mine, although it sounds a little strange in plumbing, but it's something that I absolutely love, and being appointed to be part of the board I'm very honored, and yeah, I will respect and have integrity when the board meets and all the decisions that we make.
Is there anything particular that you would like to achieve during your term on the board?
Yeah, there are a lot of codes that Lancaster City amends every so often. And I have found that it's a little difficult to get the word out to the other plumbers. I think it would be good, at least with my knowledge and my connections that I can get that word out, so all the plumbers can come together and, successfully, plumb this place in.
Great.
Yeah, but with my extensive knowledge in the plumbing code, only with the IPC and the local codes, this is really exciting for me.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from members of the committee? Please, Councilor Hirsch.
Just want to say thank you for your willingness to step up and serve on the board. This is one of those things that I think, I'll speak for myself, I don't always think about these things day to day, but they're really important, and I'm glad that there are people that bring this skill set to the table, because it's certainly not mine. So thank you for your willingness to serve.
Sure.
Other comments or questions from council? From the public? I'll make a motion. Thank you so much. I'll make a motion to move these nominations to our next council meeting on August 12th.
Second.
All in favors?
Aye.
Thank you, Madam President. That concludes the Personnel Committee.
Thank you very much, Councillor Cleeks, and thank you for all of our volunteer nominees for appointment. The next item on our agenda this evening is the Finance Committee. Councillor Arroyo.
Thank you, Council President. We have one item on our agenda this evening is the 2025 mid-year budget report. And with that, I'll invite Tina Campbell, Director of Administrative Services.
Councilors, I'll just quickly remind that Director Campbell did send these slides and supporting materials to us in advance. If you wanted to pull them up on your screens, it would have been before the regularly scheduled meeting, before we rescheduled this one.
I think that's on. Is that on? Yes. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for providing space to share this report tonight on the budget. Since this is still a new process, I just want to remind everyone that we have started to provide written monthly financial statements to council, and we're providing this public quarterly report as well as those monthly financial statements. The reporting schedule is part of the Home Rule Charter, and I always welcome any feedback for how to make this process better, since we're still all learning the process together. Last quarter was the first quarter that we did this report, and I heard from some people that we should have some visuals for the presentation. So I've brought just a couple of slides tonight. They're not super exciting. I'm not sure how to make numbers exciting on PowerPoint slides, but I brought a few. They are not comprehensive, so I'll encourage council to please refer back to the reports that Council President just referenced that you received. You received the monthly reports on July 21st. Those are the comprehensive reports, and then these reports were sent out last week as well. Next slide, please. So I'm reporting tonight on the financial statements which ended on June 30th, 2025. Generally, we need a few days to close a month once it is done, so the quarterly reports will always come to the Finance Committee on the second month of the following quarter. It's generally just about a month after the quarter closes. This was delayed a week, but generally that's about when it is. And because I'm reporting on the second quarter tonight, we are at the halfway point for the year. So obviously revenue and expenses are not completely even from month to month, but generally you can use 50% as the gauge for any line item in these reports. So in the detailed reports that you received, ideally we're looking at 50% or more of revenue that we've received up to now, and 50% or less of expenses that we've spent. Next slide, please. So just as a reminder, here is the full budget for the year for all of our funds combined. Our combined expenses equal slightly over $157 million for the year, and this is for all 5 of our funds, the general fund and the 4 enterprise funds. As of June 30, we're running at about 51% of budgeted revenue over all of the funds and about 39% of budgeted expenses. So generally we're in line with where we should be at this time of year. Next slide, please. I won't talk much about this slide. Hopefully you remember seeing this or something like this before at our budget hearings in the fall. But this is the breakdown of revenue in the general fund. Our general fund budget for revenue is about $79 million for 2025. This is our largest fund. It makes up almost half of the total combined funds. So I wanted to show the revenue breakdown again, and I'll show the expense breakdown in a minute as well. All right, next slide, please. So for the general fund, some highlights from the financial statements for the revenue are here as follows. So we currently have about 60% of our budgeted revenue as of June 30th for the general fund. While this is great, we do get a lot of our real estate taxes at the beginning of the year, so this isn't necessarily higher than we've projected for the year. We will see that tax amount grow slower the rest of the year since there aren't a lot of real estate taxes left to be paid. And speaking of real estate taxes, we're running at a slightly lower rate of real estate taxes collected this year than as of June 30th last year. 1.6% might not feel super significant, but because this is our largest revenue line, I continue to watch this line pretty closely. 1.6% is about $520,000, so it does affect revenue if the rest of the real estate taxes become too delinquent. Earned income tax continues to come in almost exactly to projections, which is great to see. This is the first year that we were looking at that earned income tax increase, so it's nice to see that coming in as projected. And there are a few lines that come in as large payments towards the end of the year, or they come in as one or two payments throughout the year, and some of those we haven't received yet. So I just wanted to note those because those are not going to be showing that 50%. I've listed here the franchise fees, parking violations, and the pension state funds. Again, all of those come in, the pension state funds come in at the end of the year, franchise fees do as well, and the parking violations come in chunks over the course of the year. These three lines together make up about $5.7 million, or about 7.2% of the revenue budget. So that will boost revenue this fall as those start to come in as well. Next slide, please. So as with revenue, I just wanted to quickly show the breakdown in general fund expenses. As you may remember, we're anticipating more revenue than expenses this year. So we've budgeted about $76 million in expenses and about $79 million in revenue. The surplus is budgeted to increase the cash reserves to a level that gets us closer to what would be a normal standard of about 20% of operating income. We likely won't quite get to that threshold yet, but we're inching our way up there. Next slide, please. So just a few highlights of general fund expenses. General fund expenses are running at about 40% of the annual budget. Again, this is great. We want to be lower than 50%, or at least not higher than 50%. Staffing vacancies are driving much of the savings, though you will see in some of the bureaus like Human Resources, other lines have increased to cover the work while the vacancies were being filled. And just as a reminder, it is allowable to move expenses within the bureau or department as long as those total expenses for that department do not go over the approved budget. So we watch those movements, but we also recognize that budgets are projections, and sometimes one item may run higher while others run lower. So my focus as I review the reports is generally to look for any high trends within a budget or department, and I'm thankful to say that I don't see any of those trends happening right now. So just a couple of other notes. As on the revenue side, there are some expenses that come out in one or two large payments, and there are expenses which might increase in the second half of the year. So the current quarter that we're in, that's the third quarter, tends to be a higher overtime quarter for fire, for the fire department, and to a certain extent police as well. So we'll start to see that increase slightly. Our large debt payments come out in November, so those lines will jump in the last quarter of the year. And the police and fire pension plan contributions are the same way. And then just another note, many of the IT contracts actually come out in the spring. So many of those have come out. That's a larger line item in our budget, so I just wanted to note that. It's showing at about 75% spent, but please know that that's projected and intended. We anticipate that that line will stay within budget, or actually might be slightly under by the end of the year. And I think that might be it. Oh, nope, not quite. Just very quickly, a few things about the enterprise funds. So as you remember, we have 4 enterprise funds: stormwater, water, sewer or wastewater, and trash. The stormwater fund was budgeted at a deficit this year. However, they've kept expenses at about 36% of budget for the year, so we're actually showing just a slight surplus in the stormwater currently, which is great to see at this point in the year. And again, we'll keep watching that. The water fund is also running slightly lower on expenses, but we continue to watch this as the cost of chemicals for water treatment is always a big variable for us. So that we will continue to monitor. Sewer is pretty much as expected. Sewer revenue is not showing at 50%, but this is due to some bulk sewer treatments that we offer that are larger line items, and those come in later in the year. And then trash is almost exactly as projected. So admittedly, the trash fund is an easier one to project because most of this is mostly contracted work. You can, predict it much closer than other parts of the budget. I say this, but then you might look at the financial statement and wonder why we're showing at 70% of revenue and 80% of expenses, or 87% of expenses. And again, this has to do with how the payments are estimated and the invoices are paid. So much of our hauling fees, which contribute the largest portion of our expenses, are already paid, or they're encumbered to be paid. And because we bill trash quarterly, the third quarter, which we're currently in, was billed and mostly paid in June. So that is showing as payment in June for the third quarter. All right, and I think I will stop there now.
Thank you for the presentation, Director Campbell. Just one question regarding some of the revenue lines that you mentioned. Franchise fees, parking violations, and pension state funds. Can you clarify what franchise fees are and the percentage of parking violations that get received by the city?
Looking at Larry Cohen, the president of the Parking Authority, for the last one. Yeah. I actually don't know that number right offhand. Do you know the percentage?
Are you asking the percentage or which fines we're collecting?
So I think my understanding is that the city of Lancaster does not receive 100% of parking
yes.
tickets, et cetera. There's a percentage that's paid out to the
Yes.
city. Yeah.
Yes, so there's an administrative fee, and that is roughly,
It's pretty, when you speak on it.
do you mind? Since you're here,
Since
Larry.
I'm here.
Hi, Larry.
good time and-
Would you mind coming to the mic so the public who might be watching at home can,
I'm not prepared for what I'm supposed to speak about. but
that's okay. Oh, yeah, you can sit here.
Tina's eyeballing me back there. Hi. I'm not here that often. Yeah, the parking, as you know, Jamie, the parking authority runs the violation parking program under a contract with the city. Parking authority is basically like a management company doing the enforcement for meters, street sweeping, and residential permit parking. That's what we're authorized to do per our contract. Per our contract, the parking authority gets a 10% management fee, plus our expenses are covered, which are approved in our contract. And if there's any changes to that allocation of personnel or whatever, we would bring that to Tina and go through that. So if there's some major change and we need additional staffing, we would get approval for that. And the city gets 90% of violation revenue after expenses and the 10% management fee. It's a pretty good deal for the city, but it works. And we're 9 years into it.
Yeah.
contracts in. So thank you. Does that answer the question?
That does. I appreciate the clarification. Thank you, Larry.
And
Uh,
then to your second part of the question, the franchise fees come from some agreements that we have with actually places like Comcast and others that offer services that we franchise out, I guess, for lack of a better term.
And those line items have been dwindling over time, and so historically, they've been greater than what they are now, the franchise fees.
Thank you both. Any questions from the committee or full council? Councilor Hirsch?
Thank you, Director Campbell. That was a great report. The one question I had, and I know you said that for the earned income tax revenue, that it was running about where the city expected. I just had a question on the actual financial statement. It shows around 27%, and so I'm assuming that the second quarter remittance probably occurred either this month or in late July at some point. And is that kind of what you're saying, as far as, it's coming in around what expectation is?
Yes, exactly. That comes in it actually came in July, and it is about what we expected. But yes, you're absolutely right. The quarter payments for earned income tax are always the larger payments.
Yes, and so then we would expect to see that then in the next report.
Exactly.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Councilor Ahmed?
Thank you, Councilor Arroyo, and thank you, Director Campbell. This report was very helpful. My question was regarding the unfilled positions and the vacancies. Are we planning to keep those vacancies throughout the rest of the fiscal year? And given that we are seeing revenues a little bit ahead of what were anticipated, is there any discussions about bringing some of those positions back to kind of alleviate some of the other staff pressures?
Sure. Yeah, none of the positions are permanently vacant at this point. These would be vacancies that somebody has left, and we, take a couple months to fill again. So it's this kind of ebb and flow of positions, but none of them are being held as vacant right now.
Thank you, and that concludes my questions.
Thank you, Councilor Ahmed. Any additional questions from council? All right. Any questions from the public? With that, I'll conclude the Finance Committee. Thank you, Director Campbell. Council
Thank
President.
you, Councilor Arroyo. We'll now go to Community Planning Committee, Councilor Craig.
Thank you, Council President. We have one item on the agenda for community planning this evening, which is Administration Resolution 55, granting a projection easement to the Lancaster Parking Authority. And Mr. Cohen's has already been up here, and we would appreciate you enlightening us again. Okay, if you have a whole team, just come on. There you go.
Larry Cohen, Executive Director, Parking Authority. I'm here with our team for the project.
Kelsey Gibson with Murata Main Architects.
Amanda Groff with Harbor Engineering.
We're going to show the project. I can give some history while we're waiting. How about I do filler? Because time is precious. So we used to have an old parking office at 111 North Prince Street, right at the corner of Prince and Orange, right underneath the parking garage. That was our office for 40 or 50 years. No one knew it was there because there was no signage until we put that yellow sign to let people know that the parking authority office is there. When we took over enforcement 9 years ago, we basically doubled our staff and we needed more space. So we vacated our old office and entered an agreement to buy the Community First Funds building, which is a fabulous building, which was a great story of Dan and I just kind of having a handshake deal and making it happen. So we've been there for the last 9 years, and it serves us well with our enforcement program as well as others. So over the last 9 years, we've kept the old office vacant, basically land banking it for future use, not knowing what future use was going to be. And then at the 9-year mark, it was like, you know what, it's time to do something with this building. We don't have that anticipated what the future use is, but we thought it was a great opportunity for us to give a gift back to the city and invigorate this part of the block that lay dormant for many years. And part of that vision was expanding the Gallery Row area, and as I said, reinvigorating this part of the block with a building that'll be a great retail space for a tenant. And then the back of the office, we'll bring back our parking maintenance staff who was in there before, and they're going to have like the back part of the office. So 3/4 of it will be a gallery type of space and offices. So this is a project that's underway now. The old office has been torn down, and looking to bring this back up. And I'll just highlight that on the building, and we've gone through the sign commission and such. We put a nice map facade on the front of the building, and some banners to bring some life to that space as well. And now I'll turn it over to the professionals.
Thanks, Larry. To add to that, the scope of this project, we are enlarging the floor plan, or the existing office building, the footprint a little bit, and there are interior renovations. Like Larry said, this is under construction right now. The idea here was to bring this now, once a office space, now it's going to be tenant space out towards the street, give it more of a street presence. So in our facade that you can see on this rendering, we have curtain wall and then a ventilated mesh screen above and banners, so it gives more life to this facade and breaks up that mass of the parking garage. You can go to the next slide. So we'll start with that, we'll go to the easement portion.
Sure, so I'll just talk a little bit about the canopy that is going to be partially overhanging the right-of-way for North Prince Street. So the second floor of the parking garage right now is close to the right-of-way, but not quite at the right-of-way. There's about 1.3 feet between the second floor of the garage and the right-of-way. So the canopy will get added to the second floor portion of the garage, and then we'll go out 4 feet from that. So it'll only be overhanging the right-of-way by a little over 2 feet, about 2 feet 3 inches. And it does vary slightly just because the building isn't 100% parallel with the right-of-way. And then the canopy is proposed to be about 17 feet wide, and there will be at least 8 feet clear below the canopy where it overhangs the sidewalk. And again, that will vary slightly just because of the slope of the sidewalk away from the building. And then the easement that we're requesting is slightly larger than the proposed canopy, just to allow for some construction in case it's slightly off. We always like our easements to be slightly larger. So I think we're at 19 feet wide by 3 feet, just under 3.5 feet in depth into the right-of-way for the easement area. So as I mentioned, the canopy is on the second floor overhang, and then the existing office area is what sits back from that second floor overhang. So right now, there's about 7 feet difference between the second floor overhang and where the existing office is. And then with the building addition, that'll come out not quite 5 feet, but the building addition will still be lower. So that's where like the canopy isn't very deep into the right of way, but it's partially because it's already underneath that second floor overhang. Does that make sense?
You want to go to the next slide?
Thank you very much. Sounds pretty exciting. I look forward to seeing it. Are there any questions from the committee?
Thank you, Councilor Craig. Thank you for the presentation. Just one quick question. I'm assuming this isn't going to affect the accessibility of the sidewalk for pedestrians or anyone like that based on the type of design it is, the structure? Thanks. That's all.
Questions from council as a whole? Yes? From the public? Okay, I'll make a motion that we move Resolution 55 to full council on the 12th.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hopefully it will all be this easy moving forward. We do have a tenant, but we're leaving it to them. We had a lot of interest in the property, which is great. It shows that there's demand for space in Gallery Row. We're hopeful that we're gonna leave it to the tenant to do their official announcement once things are done. I'd love to steal the thunder, but I'm gonna give it to
No,
them.
let's not do that to them.
But
Thank
it's
you.
a known entity in the community, so I think everyone will be really happy. Thank you.
Great. And that was it for community planning, right? Yep, great. Thank you very much, Councilor Craig. We'll now move to our Public Works Committee. Councilor Hirsch.
Thank you, Council President. The Public Works Committee has one item on its agenda tonight. It's a resolution updating the city's agreement with the Lancaster County Conservation District. I'm going to invite Director Stephen Campbell to say a few words on it. It's mostly administrative in nature, and my understanding is we do these from time to time, updating our memorandum of understanding with the Lancaster County Conservation District. So with that, I'll leave it to Director Campbell.
Yes, as always, you're very correct in that preliminary assessment of this requirement. Do we have the slides? Can the slides be brought up? I just wanted to give a little bit of background about the Lancaster County Conservation District before we make the request. Very small summary. While we're waiting for the slide, because it's not really visual, it's just information. The Lancaster County Conservation District was established in 1947 and is dedicated to conserving natural resources and promoting sustainable practices within Lancaster County, PA. Some of their key functions include soil and water conservation, and my father, as a matter of fact, was a member of the USDA, U.S. Department of Agriculture, and he was an extension service soil scientist from Penn State. So I'm very proud of this relationship. Soil and water conservation works on projects to prevent soil erosion and manage water resources effectively. Environmental education, where they provide educational programs and resources to schools, communities, and farmers about conservation practices. Regulatory compliance, where they assist landowners and developers in complying with environmental regulations such as erosion and sediment control. Agricultural support, where they offer technical assistance and funding opportunities to farmers to implement conservation practices. And watershed management, where they work on improving the health of local watersheds through various initiatives and partnerships. Is it not? Like I said, there's nothing visual, it's just words, but it would be nice to have them. The City of Lancaster is responsible to the LCCD for collaboration, which is working together on projects that impact both the city and the county, such as stormwater management and urban conservation efforts. Compliance, which is ensuring that city projects comply with the environmental regulations and guidelines set forth by LCCD. Support, meaning providing support for LCCD initiatives, which may include funding, resources, or participation in educational programs. And also, last but not least, community engagement, encouraging residents and businesses within the city to participate in conservation programs and practices promoted by the LCCD. Keep it on this slide. This MOU outlines the partnership between the Lancaster County Conservation District and the city and defines their common areas of responsibility serving the citizens of the city of Lancaster. Common areas of responsibility include erosion and sediment pollution control for stormwater discharges associated with construction activities, minimum control measures outlined in the city's MS4 or Municipal Separate Storm Sewer System general permit, and education and outreach for the public. Next slide. Resolution number 54-2025 includes minor updates to the existing MOU. The updates include minor wording and punctuation updates throughout, so it's very, very minor. An update to allow the LCCD to provide documents electronically and on its website, a novel approach. The Lancaster County Conservation District has also included an update to decrease its plan review and permitting timeline for applications and erosion and sediment control plans from 10 days to 5 days, as well as an update for the LCCD to reduce its inspection and inspection response timelines from 10 days to 8 days. The LCCD inspects earth disturbance activities to ensure that the implementation and maintenance of the ENS plan and Chapter 92 ENS practices. There's no proposed change to the municipal responsibilities outlined in the MOU. So, as described, this is very much an administrative change, but the document or the agreement that was in place as of May of 2024 ceases and is replaced by this MOU. So all terms and conditions except for the change in technology and deliverance and the timelines remains the same, and all other responsibilities remain the same.
Thank you, Director Campbell. Any questions or comments from the Public Works Committee?
If I may.
Ms. Councilor Diaz.
In relations to our new AI coreware that's going to be basically implemented into our city and also partially Lampeter Township, will they also provide us updates on how much water, how much electricity that's going to be used to the public?
As with everything, the regular reporting for any use, any activity continues. So this would be fully consistent with any other reporting mechanisms that are already underway.
Thank you.
And if I could just add to that to say that the former use of LSC was consuming more water than the proposed new use. And so I just want to make sure that everybody's aware of that. And as it relates to the electricity usage, that is really an issue for the Pennsylvania Utilities Commission, which regulates issues related to electricity. And I would remind council that we're part of a 13-state consortium that is a wholesale retailer called PJM, and would direct your attention to recent activities by the Shapiro administration to address those rates. And that really functions outside of this body.
Any other comments or questions from the Public Works Committee or council as a whole? Any questions or comments from the public? And if you don't mind, if you could just state your name and block of residence as well for the meeting record.
All right, Taylor Raymond, 500 block of St. Joseph Street. I just wanted some clarification on the reduced timelines. You said from 10 days to 5 days for one of them and 10 to 8 for another. Is that calendar days or business days?
That is a very good question. I believe that it is, hold on a second. I can confirm for you, but I believe that it is calendar days.
Any other questions or comments from the public? Hearing none, I would make a motion to move Resolution 54 to our full meeting of council on August 12th, tomorrow night. All those in favor? Aye. Struggling with this mic. That concludes the Public Works Committee.
That's all right. Thank you very much, Councilor Hirsch. And then finally this evening we have Public Safety Committee. Councilor Diaz.
Thank you, Council President. Public Safety Committee has a bill number 05-2025 creating a community police review board. Due to the scheduling issues with the meeting, and I personally prefer to move this proposal to the September meeting now that it is online and can be reviewed. Plus, I also would like to hear back from the Chief of Police, Chief Mendez, if he has any questions or anything that he would like to add to this. It's really important also that the committee responds and also the mayor to see what we can do for our community since we're continually getting requests for it.
Councilor Diaz, is your wish to not take this up under your committee this evening?
Not this evening.
Mr. Harris, does this need to be tabled? As our parliamentarian, I want to check and make sure if it needs to be tabled or if it can simply not be taken up by the committee.
I'm sorry, I think it can simply not be taken up. There's no action.
Thank you.
No action taken by the committee.
Okay, thank you very much, Councilor Diaz. Appreciate that. There we go. So we don't need to take that up under your committee, and you have no other items. Is that correct?
That is correct. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you very much. Then, councilors, we have reached the conclusion of our committee meeting agendas this evening. Mr. Harris has submitted his clerk's report in writing to us. Thank you very much for that. So that is on the record. Having reached the end of our agenda, I will hear a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. We are adjourned.